One of America's greatest leaders who led a remarkable life, Abraham Lincoln, was born on February 12, 1809 near Hodgenville in Kentucky State, USA. Rising from humble origins, Lincoln went on to become the savior of the Union and the emancipator of slaves. Lincoln's father Thomas Lincoln was a farmer and his mother Nancy came from an ordinary family and was a very religious woman. Thomas and Nancy had 3 children in all, Sarah, Abraham and Thomas. In 1816, Thomas had to face a lawsuit and leave Kentucky. The Lincolns settled down in a farm in southwestern Indiana. Lincoln's years at Indiana were an unpleasant memory for him. He helped his father to clean up the farmland and later took care of the crops. In 1818, his mother died and Lincoln felt lost. His father soon married Sarah, a widow with 2 girls and a boy. Sarah was a very loving woman who cared for all the children as her own. Over the years, Sarah and Abraham became very close and years later, Lincoln referred to Sarah as his angel mother. The desire to learn got kindled in Abraham Lincoln at a very small age. Sarah encouraged Abraham to read, but his schooling was interrupted many times. He would happily walk miles to borrow a book, and before he was a young man, Lincoln had read about the life of George Washington, Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan and Aesop's Fables. In 1830, Lincoln's family moved to Illinois State. At 21, he was a handsome young man, 6 feet 4 inches tall. Lincoln was good-natured, a good mimic, a talented storyteller and made friends easily. For the next 6 years, he helped to fence his father's farm and worked as a flatboat hand, storekeeper, postmaster, and surveyor. At the start of Black Hawk War, Lincoln joined as a volunteer and was made captain of a company. He contested the elections, was defeated the first meet, went to win the next 6 times and served as a legislator till 1840. In 1836, Lincoln passed the law exam and began practicing as a lawyer in Salem in Massachusetts. As Springfield in Illinois State offered more opportunities for a lawyer, Lincoln moved there in 1837. Working in partnership with bright lawyers, he was soon earning much more than the governor or judge's salaries. In 1842, after a mildly turbulent courting, Lincoln married Mary Todd. They had arguments but were attached to each other till the end and went on to have 4 sons, in all of which only 2 survived. Till the railroads came in 1850, Lincoln attended his case hearings, traveling many miles from one court to the other on horseback or buggy. Over the next 2 decades, with his quick mind and rational thinking, Lincoln became a distinguished lawyer in Illinois who was also known for his honesty. After serving as a legislator and then as a congressman for 2 years till 1849, Lincoln's political career almost ended when he was disappointed at not being given his due recognition after working for war hero Zachary Taylor's victory. In 1854, the political turmoil disintegrated the Whig Party and gave birth to the Republican Party, which Lincoln joined in 1856. 2 years later, he ran for senator and lost the election. However, his election debate with his opponent earned Lincoln a lot of recognition. Running for the presidency, Lincoln won the 1860 elections and a poor farmer's boy took oath as the 16th President of USA. Even before Lincoln assumed office, disunity was threatening America and a few states joined together and formed the Confederate States of America. Lincoln put down the uprising and also protected many strategic locations from being taken over by the secessionists and preserved the American Union. The government troops lost to Confederate forces in Virginia in 1861 and 1862. Lincoln wanted to preserve the American Union at any cost. For this he believed that the army must be improved and reorganized federal forces. With his ability to strike a relationship with people, Lincoln garnered support from many quarters to help him reserve America from breaking up. Slavery was an evil that had a profound influence on Lincoln from a very young age. He hated human bondage, and in 1863, Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation freed more than 2 lakh slaves. By 1865, using his powers of persuasion, Lincoln convinced everyone that slavery had to go. And the 13th Amendment was passed with 2/3 majority and slavery was abolished in America. The same year he met with secessionists' representatives to work out a unification plan. Lincoln wanted the reunion of the breakaway states as a precondition to any agreement. Though that was accepted, Lincoln's other terms were not supported by the representatives and radicals in his own party, and the talks fell through. The 4-year war between the breakaway states and the American Union stopped after the Confederate forces were defeated in many encounters. All the seceded states rejoined the Union, and Lincoln's next task was to integrate the new states as an equal member of the Union. All through his political career, Lincoln had many rivals, both within his own party and the opposition. On many occasions, Lincoln had to change his stand and yield to the opposing forces. But he managed to have his way if he believed in an issue strongly. Capable of reciting lengthy passages from Shakespeare's works, Lincoln was interested in books that inspired and liked George Byron and Robert Burns' poems. He liked humor and visited the theater whenever he could. During and after his life, Lincoln was respected and a lot was said and written about him. He was compared to George Washington, and he displayed all the maturity of a statesman. The press wrote that Lincoln was faithful, honest, firm, insightful, humorous and courageous. And even today, America respects him, and he is looked upon as a legend.